I need a countdown.
No, that was your.
That was the countdown.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you got your whole warm up to that, or does this start with just blank silence and me saying
I
I need a countdown?
I think it starts with go.
Okay, cool.
I don't
Welcome to
remember.
Say Report Jr., your podcast you should be listening to, subscribe to, and downloading every week. I am one of your co-hosts, Zach Sarwick.
And I am your other co-host, Dale Decker, and I'm a jerk.
We knew one of these days you were gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm always waiting for that episode start where it's like, oh, we've been recording for 10 minutes.
Well, it's also I definitely brought the mood down. I definitely brought the mood down by mentioning something really, really sad a second before I hit the record button. So I needed to immediately bring it back up. And that was the only way I knew how.
Well, it's a week.
It's a
It's a very special week.
It is
Special week for a couple of reasons. It's actually a special week not only because there's a special ending to this episode that you're all going to hear toward the end with a special guest coming on for 20-ish minutes. But I almost said for a little bit, but 20-ish minutes is more than a little bit. It's also Detective Pikachu week. Finally, we get to talk about Detective Pikachu.
Yes. Oh,
and the glory that is Detective Pikachu. But before we get there, very quickly, I have done nothing this week myself personally. I have been working and I found a mod for Stardew Valley, so I've just been playing Stardew Valley with like a bigger town. That's all I've been doing.
Oh wow, well that's nice though. Bigger town is fun for Stardew Valley. Good for them.
But other than that, that's all I've been doing. But you had other stuff to talk about.
I do. Yeah, no, really quickly, because like the bulk of this episode is gonna be Detective Pikachu. Really quickly, I saw The Hustle. The Hustle was really great. You guys should all go see The Hustle. Yeah, Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway are fantastic. It's basically a retelling of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, but in its own like really cool way. So yeah, definitely go see that. X-Men Day just happened on the 13th. Which it was like a celebration to apparently like Dark Phoenix is like they're gearing up for the Dark Phoenix movie. And like 20 years ago, the X-Men movies started 20 years ago.
Oh,
which
jeez,
like,
are we really on the 20th anniversary of those?
Yeah, which is insane.
Oh.
And I didn't realize it until like I was seeing Twitter like go crazy over X-Men. And I'm like, oh my god, it has been 20 years. Like, the X-Men movies, like, totally... I might have mentioned this before, but the X-Men... The Spider-Man and the X-Men movies that came out in the 2000s, like, totally shaped my view of what a superhero is and what, like, what a person kind of is. And what a superhero movie could be. And the fact that the X-Men movies came out 20 years ago, the whole journey started 20 years ago, is crazy. And it kind of like, yes, while there aren't as many, it like put into perspective, like, yes, there aren't as many movies in the X-Men, line
universe, franchise, whatever.
Franchise or anything. But, like, compare, I don't know, the MCU... I was, like, comparing it in my head, and I'm like, yeah, 20 years versus 10 years. But in 10 years, they were able to churn out, like, 20-something movies. I mean, don't know, it's weird.
What it really comes down to is that because they have a number of different creators and a number of different things going on, they have some stronger people they can pull into the MCU, but that's a money thing. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about Fox having that franchise for so long that, like, really so much of what they were doing was just trying to keep the rights, and in doing so, accidentally created this, like, major decade-long franchise. Yeah.
And it's crazy. And, like, also, in my opinion, this is all me, there's a lot of ups and downs in the MCU. There's maybe, like, a down in the X-Men world.
I'd say two.
What's your second?
I would say 3, The Last Stand.
Really?
Not
See, I love
super
The
great.
Last Stand.
I mean, like this. It's you know what it is? It's that the CGI really doesn't hold up on that one more than the others.
Right.
And then I know that Apocalypse was not Although Apocalypse I have not seen, so I'm saying this entirely based on just like
Oh,
word of mouth.
yeah, no.
Apocalypse I know is not like super well
Yeah,
liked,
no. My like down is honestly Days of Future Past. But
which is
even
so strange because everybody seems to like that one.
oh,
I
everybody
really
loves
enjoyed
it.
it.
Everybody loves it. Here's the thing. I rewatched it, and in that rewatching, I'm like, okay, this movie isn't that bad. Like it's actually pretty cool in what they do. The issue with that movie for me is all the stuff that takes place in the future.
And you say again, it's been a while since I have watched it. Which version do you watch now when you rewatch it? Because I'm pretty certain the original version,
Whatever version is on. Like I don't.
whatever theatrical version of that is, I think the one that I have seen. I never saw like any of the other cuts or anything, and they don't
Yeah.
spend that much time in the future in
Yeah,
that
but it,
movie.
it really like colors a lot. And it's also like Jennifer Lawrence. I like Jennifer Lawrence and all that, but like her as Mystique is very strange and like still very strange to me. Because it's never not Jennifer Lawrence to me. Like she doesn't hide enough into the Mystique character to like distract me from the fact that it's Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, she doesn't do a lot of character work
Yeah. So there's
in
that.
her career.
The original Mystique, who I can't think of her name right now, and it really
Rebecca
upset-
Romaine.
Yes, Rebecca Romaine. Like when I found out it was Rebecca Romaine, I'm like, hold on, what? That's crazy. And then she's in the Punisher movie, and I'm like, oh, they're connected. Anyway, but yeah, so X-Men Day, the X-Men characters like mean a lot to me, in character wise, film wise, everything, superhero wise. So, having them having a day like is awesome.
And
To
in
me.
15 years,
And
when they finally get wrapped in the MCU, your
Which-
favorite franchise, you're going to love them even more,
well, here's the
just
thing.
like you love Spider-Man in the MCU.
So that's what I was talking to a coworker of mine, and I'm like, they're talking about how the X-Men might join the MCU, and that honestly scares me because as much as I love Spider-Man, as much as I love Tom Holland, I don't like the direction they went with Spider-Man in the MCU, and they're going to ruin the X-Men. And
I mean,
it's
it depends
going
on
to
which.
be sad.
That's all going to depend. We'll get off this now because we have to get
Yes,
to the
Detective
better thing,
Pikachu,
the more
the
happy
better
thing.
thing.
But it's all going to depend on what version of X-Men they go with. Like, there's also
Yeah.
a big part of this where like they might even have enough sense where they're like, no one's ever going to live up to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Maybe we just go with one of the future X-Men teams that doesn't have Wolverine in
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Exactly. Well, one would
And which
hope.
means that
One
they
would
could,
hope.
which means that they could go with a whole new set of characters and like a whole new
Exactly.
set of stories.
Yeah.
Which would be the smartest thing to do. Would be to get away from just retreading
Oh,
Charles
yeah.
Xavier versus Magneto with Logan being pulled between them and all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd be crazy. I mean, I hope it's good, but I also it'd be okay if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, on to
Oh, one other thing before
Oh.
we get to that, I have to. We do have to talk. Okay, so it was that free comic book, free video
Oh,
game day thing
video
we
game
did,
day.
which nothing super exciting happened out of that. To be totally honest, it was a very long day. I was very excited to spend the time with you and Devin. I got sunburned on my face.
Me too.
And quite frankly, the only thing of note that happened in that whole day was when I said I had not seen the Godfather movies, and Devin rocket launched a Dunkin' Donuts cup into my chest.
Yep.
out
That
of
did
pure,
happen.
out of just pure reaction.
That was crazy. Oh my god, that was
And
so
I wish
funny.
it was one of the few times I wish that someone had been recording something that could just be an endless gift for the rest of my life. It's just all of a sudden, all I said was, "Oh, I haven't seen Godfather," and I just see
Cool.
out of my periphery, I just see Devin's arm fly up, and I look down, and this cup just bounces off of my chest.
I'm forever convinced that you have a metal plate in your chest.
Just hit sternum. That's all he did.
Yeah, I know. That was crazy.
Oh,
That was so much fun. That moment was a lot of fun.
Well, you know what also had a lot of fun moments and great storytelling?
What was that, Zach?
Sad Pikachu walking down the street, sadly
Aw.
singing the Pokemon theme song to himself.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and
that should not make me laugh the way it does,
It's
but I
so
can't
funny.
stop but cracking up. Detective Pikachu is an amazing movie and everybody should go see it. And if you're worried about spoilers, now is the time to, I don't know, skip forward to whatever Devin's here and you can hear us take a quiz on
Spoiler.
Brendan Fraser because we're going to just spoil the crap out of
Oh
Detective
yeah,
Pikachu. It's too
the
awesome to not talk about for the next 20 minutes.
the spoiler friends are here and they are
Oh,
here to play.
oh my God.
Okay, all right.
I can't believe they pulled it off. I cannot
I
believe they pulled it off because this is quite like right now, it is up there, if not at the top, as one of the best video game
oh
adaptations
yes,
for film. And I cannot believe that they pulled it off the way they did.
they really did. Yeah, I think I saw today that it is the like first video game adaptation that made a certain amount of it made so much money, which does not matter to me, but like it matters to other people. But like the fact that it's Pokemon, like Pokemon was able to do it right, guys. Like,
And let's be fair, they've
it's not surprising.
no, because they've been doing this in movies for years. Pokemon, the first movie, was
Exactly.
huge.
Exactly.
And like and just every second that I'm watching this movie and I'm like connecting it to the games and the movies before and everything, they managed to connect it to everything in a way that is just brilliant without feeling like a complete like retread of anything.
Well, let's also talk about the fact like this just came to me as far as like why it would be successful, even though like whatever. But it's the closest thing. Okay, so I might have mentioned this before. In high school, not in high school, in college, I took a class called Mickey Mouse Monopoly, and it was basically about how Disney has just become culture. And it basically is, Disney is part of our discourse. Disney is part of our world. You can't go somewhere, especially now that they've acquired everything.
I mean, not just, I mean,
Um,
to add to that, literally today or yesterday, it was announced that they bought out Comcast shares in Hulu and
Yeah.
Disney has controlling
Yeah.
shares in Hulu now.
Like, it's
they,
insane.
everything.
Yeah, so like you can't go somewhere without seeing something connected to Disney. That really is true and like very like more true than I've ever imagined for Pokemon. Especially now with Pokemon Go, with Detective Pikachu, with like they're able to churn out video games, a new game every single year, along with spin-off games and side games and mobile games and like free games that you can play like in your downtime, whatever. Like Pokemon definitely is the closest thing to this Mickey Mouse monopoly that has taken over the world. I don't think I'm too crazy for saying that.
Well, no, because what's interesting is that like this movie traded on, well, one, the Let's Go games literally just coming
yeah.
out. So like the
Yes.
idea of a partner Pokemon is huge throughout the whole movie.
Mhm.
But then you also have, it is a movie that is trying to appeal to kids. It's a great kids movie. It's a
Mhm.
great kids adventure movie, but it's also appealing to people who 20 years ago picked up like Pokemon Red and
Yeah.
Blue for the first time.
Who
And
now have kids and can bring their kids along
right.
with them.
And so like the fact that they have like I would say that the focus on a lot of the Pokemon in this game, with few exceptions, is for a lot of Pokemon that are not in that first generation.
Yes. Oh,
Like
100%.
like Pidgey and Rattata are like in the background of
Mhm.
most of this movie. And like aside from Pikachu and Mewtwo and Bulbasaur and like Psyduck, you don't get a lot of like Mr. Mime is in there.
Yeah.
But then everything else, almost everything else is like a different generation of Pokemon.
Yeah. And yeah, the like first gen ones that are prominent are Snorlax, like Machamp shows up. Charmander and Squirtle show up, but they're it's all like cameos.
Right.
They've all
It's like a
basically
Who
been
Framed Roger Rabbit of
Yes.
Pokemon.
Yes, exactly. Which someone described it as is like this is basically a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it works 100%. And it does. The fact that there's a Comfey there, a Comfey, like from the Alola region, was so cool to me.
Right, because Detective Pikachu came out, I think, within a few months. The video game for the
I
3DS
think it
came out
was
like within
before.
either right before or within a
Yeah.
few months after. I can't remember which one came first, but
It
in that
was
same range
close.
of 2016 to 2017 of those of Sun
Yeah.
and Moon. which
I
means that
just
and if they were big in planning, they must have come out the gate of Detective Pikachu being like, this is the movie this is the one we're gonna make a movie of, and it's gonna be live action.
yeah. Well, it also takes like people have definitely been fascinated with the idea of um talking Pokemon and like Pokemon possibly being fused with humans. I mean, that happens with Bill. Bill fuses with a Pokemon and becomes like a talking Pokemon. You have Meowth who talks in the anime. Like it's something that people definitely are super interested in, and the way that this movie where this
Explains that.
explains it and
Explain.
like takes care of it is really really cool. Now here's what I'm going to say about Detective Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Pikachu is a very easy movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Again,
To the
that's again
point.
because it's appealing to kids on top of everyone else. Like it is very much. It's a very simple story, so that they can
Exactly.
rely entirely on visuals to go
Exactly.
after that. Yes.
Exactly. And the nostalgia and all of that. I mean, like, here we go. Here's getting into the spoiler territory. Detective Pikachu, which he is never called Detective Pikachu, he is only called Pikachu, is Tim's father.
Soulbound to a
Soul
Pikachu, like
that,
a.
yes, exactly. So basically, the story of what Detective Pikachu, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which
Oh
like
god.
is such a weird title.
Pokemon
That's the
Company.
actual title of the movie.
Pokemon Company was weird on this because they were very strict on a lot of things going into this movie. The reason that this is the one they chose to adapt is because wanted as few, they wanted as little of the catching and making Pokemon fight thing as
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
So they chose Detective Pikachu because the whole thing taking place in Rhyme City where there is no fight, there's not supposed to be fighting.
Mm.
And that's also why, like,
Or
at the beginning of
catching,
the
but
movie,
no Pokeballs.
right, when he tries to catch a Cubone and not only fails, but the Cubone chases him down
Yep.
afterwards,
Yep.
like,
That was good. I love
uh,
the light's not green. That's
it's supposed
bad, right? That's not good.
that's great because we need to talk about the fact that this movie is so perfectly structured against the idea of a Pokemon
Oh
game.
yes.
Because it's like you start with that whole opening scene where it's like it's not green, it's the three shake mentality. It's the I'm sitting there mashing B even though it doesn't do anything because I need it to stop shaking so I
Exactly.
can catch the damn Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's like no stars happened yet, Tim. No, you didn't get any like music. I mean, that's not gonna happen because it's the real world. But yeah, like it does. It didn't even shake. There was not even a one shake on that Cubone. That Cubone wanted nothing to do with you. That's like, let it be, man.
Oh man, because like, and let's be fair, it failed because Tim walked out in a field and threw a
Exactly.
Pokeball at a Cubone. He
Exactly.
did no work for that
Yeah. Yeah.
Cubone.
You didn't. You don't even have a starter Pokemon. You don't. You got nothing, Tim. You can't do that. Have you not watched the anime? Which that was something that we're getting so ahead of
I
ourselves.
know, I know. Every aspect of this movie is
But
so good.
you brought up that the fact that Pikachu sings the theme song from the anime could mean that the anime exists in the world, and
Which
that
I
blew
love
up my
because
brain.
going with the idea that this is based on the game Detective Pikachu, which means that the games are connected in their own universe. They're separate from the anime and the movies that have come out and all of that.
Yeah.
The games are their own thing. So if this is based on Detective Pikachu the game, the fact that they straight up pretty much tell you that this is the Mewtwo from like Red and Blue that
Yep.
you can catch in Cerulean Cave,
Yeah.
um, it all implies like I like this idea that if Pikachu singing that theme song implies one of two things. One, it's a pop song in the world of Pokemon, which maybe but I
I
like
believe
the
it.
other but I like the other one, which is that the anime exists in this world and they all watch it and they all talk about how bad Ash is the whole time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I want that world to be. Is
Yeah.
people sitting on their couches hate watching the Pokemon anime the way that we watch The Bachelor. Like
Oh, all right, all right. I could get, yeah, all right, all right.
I want people sitting down once a week, like especially like 22-year-olds, like Tim and all of his friends sitting around. Like we're just gonna have like glasses of wine and mimosas that we've made for each other, and we're just gonna make up some fucking like pizza rolls, and we're gonna watch
Yes,
the latest episode of Pokemon, and we're gonna talk
yes.
about how bad Ash is at his job.
That's amazing. I want that movie. I want that movie right now. But yeah, so basically the whole story of Detective Pikachu is that Bill Nye, right? Bill Nye
Yes.
is sick, and he wants to try and help cure and help harness what makes Pokemon so great. The evolutionary stuff and all that. He wants to harness that and try and first of all, he supposedly wants Pokemon and humans to live together in peace and harmony. So that's why Rhyme City is created, because
But what
there
he's
is
really
no
doing
fighting and no catching of Pokemon.
and what he's really done is created himself a little petri dish of perfection where everybody will
Yes.
basically just let him do what he wants because he created this like little
This
utopia.
like utopia, yeah.
And of course, he's using that for the nefarious means of if I capture a Mewtwo, I can then use the Mewtwo to combine humans and Pokemon into
Because
one body.
apparently Mewtwo has that ability.
Mewtwo has all of the abilities he
Oh
needs to
yeah, I mean
have. I
Mewtwo is
mean,
like
he's perfect
basically
for that.
yeah. So anyways, so they find the Mewtwo, they capture the Mewtwo, which escaped from the Kanto region 20 years ago. And, all the trivia is like, and the first Pokemon movie was released 20 years ago. It's the same Mewtwo.
Guess what? We also just celebrated
Like,
the 20th
yeah.
anniversary of the literal video games of
Exactly.
Pokemon.
So like everything is connected, guys. No. They capture Mewtwo. Mewtwo basically like breaks out. They hire Harry Goodman, who is Tim Goodman's father. They hire Harry to track down the Mewtwo. I think is what they're trying to do. Yeah, they track down the Mewtwo. Or something.
Well, here's the problem. So here's the other thing is that a lot of the exposition we're given is given through holograms that have been altered by Bill
Yes.
Nighy to make to make him look good. So like theoretically,
Yeah.
what actually happened is that Harry discovered this was happening and like
Was like, no.
tracked it all down and was going to expose it.
Yeah. So
And
basically,
so yeah.
it was so basically what happened is that Mewtwo escaped with the help of Harry and his Pikachu, and Harry was like about to die. So Mewtwo was like, you showed me that humans are actually helpful and not these things that just want to control us and blah blah. Like there are actually
Which
good
by the way
humans in the world.
is why this is not a sequel to Pokemon the first movie because that's the literal lesson that Mewtwo learns in Pokemon the first movie.
Yeah, exactly. And he basically then fuses, like soul shares or whatever, Harry's consciousness into the Pikachu, and
But also like erases
gives
his
him
memory and also makes
amnesia.
it so that only Justice Smith can understand him, that Tim can understand
Which like
what he say, which means that
that's weird.
like he was expecting a lot out of that Pikachu. He was like,
Oh yeah, which like yeah. So I guess the whole thing, because Mewtwo is like, bring me the sun and I will restore you. So I guess the explanation there is Mewtwo has the ability to be like, only Harry Goodman's true son can ever understand this Pikachu.
that's fine,
Go
sure,
forth and
yes,
find
DNA,
him.
sure, DNA's a thing that works.
Yeah,
I just like
right?
and the idea that like the I guess kind of hope that if it's Harry's son would also be a good person the way Harry was a good person.
Yeah.
So you can kind of trust him inherently, but it's like, oh man.
But Tim, played by Justice Smith, does not think his father is a good person.
Getting so much better. By the way, I'm so happy he got this after freaking Jurassic World. He deserved this movie
Yes, he
after
did.
Jurassic
Yes,
World.
He did. Oh my god. I love Justice Smith so much. I've loved him ever since I saw him in Paper Towns, where he sings the Pokemon theme song.
Right?
To
And
pump
it's like
to pump themselves up. To pump him and his two other friends up. And it's like, yes, of course the Pokemon theme song is gonna pump you up. It's such a good song. Yeah, he's fantastic. I think he does such a good job in this, and oh god,
right, and he like he doesn't know anything about his father because they have had their falling out since his mother's passed away,
Which
and
like
he's like I love. Oh, I wish I knew the actor's name because I only will ever remember him as Deadpool's cabbie. Like
oh
it's
yeah.
like his friend in their small town, like you have at the beginning of every Pokemon game, and he's like, everyone else has gotten a Pokemon and left. What are you doing? He's like, I'm an
Yeah.
insurance
Yeah,
salesman.
and then it's like, why didn't you get a Pokemon? And then it's revealed that on the day he was gonna get his Pokemon, his mother died, and it just like it gets real. Shit gets
It
real
gets real and
in
it gets
Detective Pikachu.
dark. I mean, this whole
Yeah,
idea that he's like going to stuff humans into Pokemon bodies is like super fucking dark.
yeah. To in order for people to like become better versions of themselves,
And the way they're
and
like
it's like, oh,
testing it is in like underground fighting rings.
yes. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah, it's also discovered like okay, so this is the easiest thing to just to liken it to, but Zootopia, in the same way that the Nightshade makes animals go into primal mode, they create this like protein.
R It's
I'm gonna
R-type
call it
serum,
this like
but
serum. Yeah, it's like a
it's a
protein
protein that they rip out
that
of
they
fucking Mewtwo.
yeah, it's called this R serum or whatever. And a Pokemon goes into this like primal rage situation, and they find out like that's the only way we can fuse people with Pokemon is if the Pokemon are in primal state.
Yeah. This is also,
What?
you have not seen this, and I don't want to do like any major spoilers, but this skews real friggin' close to Get Out in a way that
Oh, okay.
like,
All right.
oh my God, the sci-fi third act twist that comes into Get Out, this kind of does almost the same thing.
All right.
And it's
All
like,
right.
holy shit.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. I just ugh.
And
That's
then
my
like
review.
through all of this, he keeps running into this investigative reporter intern named Lucy, who just keeps appearing with her
Yep.
with her
Psyduck.
Psyduck. And oh man, Psyduck is so good. Psyduck
Psyduck.
is so good in this.
This is like the first time. I mean, I like all Pokemon, but this is the first time where I'm like, "Aw, Psyduck."
Yeah, I mean,
Aw, buddy.
because even in the anime with Misty, like the whole kind of joke is that Misty does not want Psyduck and he
Yeah.
just keeps following her.
Yeah.
But in this one, Lucy's just like, yeah, no, this is my Psyduck. She does not care.
Yeah, no.
She never really even, aside from just like keeping him safe in the car when shit is going down
Yeah.
and like carrying him in a harness.
Yeah.
She like never like references like Psyduck's problems in any way. It's all Pikachu is like, oh, we need to keep him calm
Yeah.
because he might explode.
Yeah.
We
Well,
need
it's
to
like
watch.
it shows. It also like shows that she and Psyduck like truly care about each other because she's like, I understand his issues. He understands this is
She's
my
got like
friend.
absolute faith
This
in
is
him.
my
Yeah, she's got
buddy.
absolute
Like,
trust in this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just I love him. He is my like we are together, and this is we're best friends. We truly are. Like that. It's such a good showing of like what a partner Pokemon is and how you would treat each other. But yeah, it's just like they have little moments together. That's like, aw, like you do care about each other. That's cute. Like I like this a lot. I'm gonna admit, I did not know how I felt about Lucy when she first showed up. Because
She's very forward.
she's
She's very pushy and very forward.
but that's fine. Like I'm totally okay with that. I am totally okay with that because it played to this film noir world that they
Yes.
built.
Yes,
And
it
it's
does.
like,
'Cause
okay,
it's like it always
this is
appears in the shadows.
Yeah.
Like,
like this movie, true and true, like was a film noir, and I loved every second of it. And her initial like showing up like was like this femme fatale, like I am a badass, but the way she delivered her lines did not feel badass.
no, but I think
And
that
I'm
gets
like, but that's like kind of the point because
right. I think what happens is like as you get to know her throughout the rest of the movie, you realize just how much she probably had no idea what she was doing when she
Exactly.
did that.
Exactly. But like through while she's going through it, yeah, because you realize, oh, okay, she truly is a intern, But the fact that she had the amount of confidence that she had in that first meeting shows a lot about her. Because, yeah, I am an intern. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to know what the hell is going on here. And even I just need to appear confident, and that's what's gonna happen. Confidence is gonna come to me.
Right, and
Like, it's
she
gonna
is
work.
she's the main point of information at the beginning
Yes.
of that movie that gets them going,
Yeah.
and she's the one that like gets them into where they need to get into
Mm-hmm.
because she's just way more equipped than there. Because like, this is just what you do. We're
Yeah.
gonna cut through this fence now
Yeah.
and keep going.
Yeah, that scene was
And
great.
the movie never punishes her for that. That's
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing, is that this is a character, I think it's a character type that you see a lot, but usually like curious, strong-headed woman usually ends up like getting trapped somewhere or getting stuck somewhere. And to be fair, she gets sucked into the Psyduck at some point.
She
But
kind of
it's not
had
like
to, though.
right. I mean, the thing is, it's never like it's not like they then have to save Psyduck. It's not like they're
Yeah.
running around going, "Where's Lucy? We have to save Lucy."
Yeah,
It just is
exactly.
incidental to the rest of the stuff going
Yeah.
on.
No,
But
she's totally capable, and she does become a badass by the end of it because she takes over the freaking newscast
right,
that's going down.
right. She also
And
so she also
she,
then ends
like,
up getting rewarded for her own work. It's
yeah.
never like you were with the guy that just saved the city. We're gonna give you this. It's you knew what the hell was going on and
Yeah.
nobody else did.
Yeah.
You're getting you're getting this spot now.
Exactly. And she so like that initial reaction that I had to her, I'm like, I don't know, I'm really nervous about you. But she is like, she kind of takes up the mantle of, the femme fatale, like the female, the female character in a film noir, as well as the
The
male.
equivalent. She is the
Because, like,
equivalent to and actually superior to
Yes.
Tim in many ways.
Yes.
But she is
Yeah.
confident and good, and she knows what she's doing, and she doesn't stumble
Yeah.
the way
And-
any of
and-
the ways that Tim does.
Yeah, and she takes it. I was very, very happy by the end of it with her, and I'm like, thank God that this movie did not, and that she totally owned that character too. Like she,
I mean, that's
you know,
the other thing. Now that I say that out loud, I mean, thinking about it, it's not like there's no like big hero moment for Tim.
no,
In that, like, it's not like there's ever like a big thing where they stick. It's not like she's like, go interview the guy that just saved the city,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be your big break. She goes on the news to tell the story, and he goes off to be with his dad. He doesn't because he's not like given a medal. It's not like some big like grandiose moment or gesture or anything. It's just like, here's the thing he did for the city, and she actually is the one that ends up getting rewarded because she's the one that did a bunch of the work
yeah,
for it.
she did. She found all. She connected all the people. She got there. She was like the fire that started everything. And but yeah, no, I was really happy with it. There was something else that popped into my head that I forgot about. Oh, damn it. I don't know. It'll come. I'm sure it'll come to me. But yeah, oh man, this freaking movie.
This movie, and then we haven't
that's
even.
what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
Their romance did not feel forced.
Oh, okay. Phew. I was wondering where we were going to go with that because I was going to say I'm happy that it's just a part of the movie. It had not even
Yes.
like a plot point.
Not even a plot
It's
point.
just he's attracted to her.
Yes.
She also and seems to be attracted to him. And quite frankly, that's it. You
That's
kind
it.
of get the feeling. You kind of get the feeling after all of this that they're gonna go out. Like they even say, "I'll take you to dinner tonight after
Yeah.
I'm done with my work."
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all
Yeah.
you get out of that.
Yeah, no, and it's like there are those, because again, in the beginning I was really nervous. I'm like, this is gonna feel forced. I'm gonna hate this romance is not gonna be good. But it goes to this length, like him being like kind of respectful too. Like there's that one moment in the car where he's like, women like calm and level-headed, and
Wait, where did she go?
wait, where the hell did Lucy just go? And then he's like, oh no, she is not. Okay, nope. Women
But
are
see, that's
not what I think they are, and I am totally okay with that.
And even
he-
then, to be fair, she still likes that. The way
Yes.
just because she is not that like
Yeah.
level-headed person doesn't mean that's not what she's looking for.
Exactly.
Like as
And
it's nothing compared to what like just because he is not that does
Mhm.
not mean that just because he's not exactly like her.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but there's never a moment where he tries to show off for her. There's never a moment where he like stops her from doing something. He might question something, but it's honestly just because Tim does not know what the fuck is going on.
Right. I mean,
And
he
she does.
questions things that legitimately should be questioned in
Yes.
an investigation. He
Yeah,
doesn't question her
exactly.
ability. He never
Exactly.
questions that she doesn't know what she's talking about. He is just trying to make like he's trying to connect the dots in his own head.
Yeah. But even like the line where he's like, I am not ashamed to punch like a doppelganger of the woman that I found very attractive. Like that line is perfect. And I love that they never kiss. I love that we
Mm,
never get a kiss scene
yeah,
on screen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And also like in like the other part to that is that so much of the conversation around that is when you have to rewatch that movie thinking about the fact that Ryan Reynolds as a dad is inside this Pikachu
Yep.
that doesn't realize he's a dad. But what he's doing is by almost on instinct, like teasing his son about a girl he has a crush on.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the most you get out of
Yep.
that is that it's a dad teasing his kid.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, we're
It's
gonna go see
great.
that. We're gonna have to go see that attractive girl again, aren't we? What are you talking about? No, I didn't say she's attractive. Anyway,
Yeah, and it's so good. It's so adorable. Yeah, let's talk about Dadachu. I
oh
totally
my
stole your
god,
joke.
dad. Oh my god, Pika Dad, Dadachu. I don't know what we call him,
Dadachu.
but
I like Dadachu. That made
oh
me laugh way
man,
too hard.
the thing is, the second that like Bill Nighy revealed what that like link did,
Mm,
I went, are they gonna try? Are they gonna tell me that Harry's been in this Pikachu the whole time? Is that this is luckily that's the last like 20 minutes
yeah,
of the movie. It's not the whole movie.
yeah,
So like so the only reason that bums me out is that I just want him to be able to keep talking to Pikachu.
yeah. I
That's the
know,
only thing that
right?
makes me sad.
As
But
me
that's
too.
fine. That's fine. But like this the fact that he is a dude inside of Pikachu who doesn't remember that he should be a dude, so he just thinks he's a Pikachu that forgot his moves.
Yeah.
Because forgetting moves is a mechanic in the Pokemon game.
Yep. Yep. That was a good scene too. That he's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Just
That was
rolling
good.
around in the fetal position
Yeah.
in my tiny fuzzball
Yeah.
body.
Oh my god, it's so
Oh
adorable.
man.
But yeah, that was something. So Devin and I were talking about it, and it's like, shouldn't there be like, it's so weird because you would think that like there are certain things that Pikachu says that it's kind of hard to believe that Harry Goodman would say. Like Harry Goodman, yeah, Harry Goodman would say. Like there are those like little tiny jokes and like the the way he explains. Okay, Harry
So much of that is just
faked
it's
his
because
own
it's Ryan
death.
Reynolds just doing his own
Yes.
Deadpool
Oh yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Well,
But it's like that whole scene on the at the coffee bar is like, yeah, Harry faked his own death, or Harry or someone faked Harry's death, or someone faked Harry's death, or something like that. I don't remember.
no, where it's
But
like,
it's like
no, that doesn't make
that
sense at
doesn't
all.
make sense at all. Like that's definitely a Pikachu delivering what Harry is thinking, kind of, but
'Cause
also reversed. Like in
right.
the
I mean,
same way.
it's a weird thing because
It's
you have to
so
start wrapping
weird.
your mind around the idea of what exactly Mewtwo did to him,
Yeah.
and then also thinking like, I mean, with the amnesia that he has, it's kind of like it's Harry Goodman, but it's Harry Goodman if he didn't have a filter,
Yeah.
because like he doesn't know what filter to put on because as far as he knows,
He's
he's a
just a
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Yeah.
So like
So
because it kind of feels like because what it actually kind of feels like, and again, this is like this thinking about the implications of Get Out and then also the implications of Bill Nighy's plan through all of this. It kind of feels like what happened was Mewtwo put Harry into the Pikachu, but he didn't wipe the Pikachu's mind at
yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
And
There's
so
like
what's
two
happening is
brains.
that his brain is trying to process the idea of being both a Pikachu and Harry at the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
time.
Well, what I was gonna say is
So he
that
like vaguely understands what he's supposed to be able to do as a
yes,
Pikachu, but
yeah,
he can't do it because Harry is like blocking
yeah.
him.
Well, yeah. So what I like, it kind of dawned on me too while we were discussing it is that the conversation we had about Shazam, right? How Zach Levi never felt like the kid who played Billy. It was never there was they never felt like one and the same. um I think that like that could transition over to the Detective Pikachu. The only thing about that though is that we never see Harry Goodman as a detective.
Right.
He
And I think part
very
of that is
well he very well could be this like slapsticky detective who does make these kind of jokes, and like that's how he copes with the fact that his wife died, his kid
his
does not
kid
live
doesn't
with
talk to
him,
him.
does not
Right.
talk to him, like his kid thinks he's abandoned him, and the everyday, life of a Pokemon detective. So like it very well could be that too. So it still works somehow.
Right.
But
That
I
is
like
it's
your
a
explanation
situation.
of there's two brains fighting each other.
Right. And I mean, most of that is like it's a storytelling limitation in that they wanted that reveal of him
Oh
being
yeah,
dad and the reveal to just give you Ryan Reynolds for the last 30 seconds of that movie.
yeah,
Like they very clearly were trying to hide that for so much of that then kind of that limits what you can do when he's a Pikachu. This isn't Jack Frost with
yeah,
with Michael Keaton where like he's in the snowman the whole time, so it's okay that he sounds like Michael Keaton and
yeah,
kind of acts like Michael Keaton.
yeah,
Instead, it's you're coming in 30 minutes into that, and it's like if Jack Frost opened and he was already in the snowman. And it's like, why does the snowman care about harmonica and jazz? And then you get one shot for 30 seconds at the end where Michael Keaton like sings some jazz for a second. It's like, oh, okay, now that makes sense.
yeah.
So like
Oh,
it creates a limitation for that reveal, but I think that it also makes this really interesting idea of like it doesn't really matter who Harry was when Tim wasn't there. Like
yeah,
it doesn't matter that Harry was this slapsticky detective who might have been like hiding his depression with jokes because quite frankly because as far as Tim's concerned he's just the guy that kept walking away from him
exactly.
which is why I don't think it ever questions the fact that you never see his face in any of those
Yeah,
holograms.
yeah. Because it could be, yeah, that's him.
That's
He
just
doesn't.
how
He is a
yeah, that's
faceless
just how
man
he
to me. Yeah.
yep.
Oh man.
Oh,
Gosh. And there was so this is just like fun trivia as far as like you said as basically just Ryan Reynolds doing his like Deadpool stuff. So Ryan Reynolds, the way he was approached with this is that they made like a 3D version of Pikachu and was like, this is how it would work, blah blah blah. And they used dialogue from Deadpool to send to Ryan
something about
Reynolds.
something about Pikachu with like a massive crush on Hugh Jackman
Oh
just
yeah.
does not seem to.
It's, oh my god. And Ryan Reynolds was like, yeah, he was like, it was none of the swearing stuff, but they basically like sent me this Pikachu that had my voice and I was instantly sold.
I feel it deep in
And
my
then
jellies. I have to be Pikachu now.
oh, that was so good. There was another thing where he was like, okay, so people are gonna know it's me, so I need he's a detective, right? So I gotta put on like this New York accent and like be someone else. And he's talking to the creators and the people in the production crew of the. I don't know if he was talking to producers or the writers or what, but he was basically like, yeah, so like I could put on this voice for you guys, and they were like, or you
Hear
don't.
me out.
And
Hear me out here.
they basically were just like, or you don't. You just be Ryan Reynolds? And he was like, oh, okay.
Just be. What if Deadpool and Van Wilder became a Pokemon? Do that, but don't swear.
Yeah, pretty much.
You missed
So, oh
the
my
hand
God.
gestures that went with that movement, by the way.
Oh,
That was
I'm
a big
sad.
one. Anyway.
Oh man, yeah, no, I like listened to Ryan Reynolds talking about that, like how it became to like how it came to be him as Pikachu is the funniest shit ever to me.
It's great because like he's definitely at that. First off, the fact that he's at an age where he can play a 21-year-old dad,
Yeah,
I cannot believe and can at the same time.
yeah.
But like I know he's got at least one kid and I think another on the
He's
way,
got
and
two kids right
he's
now, and then
he's
another on the way, right? I think.
ah,
Yeah.
so he's entering that phase, that all precarious phase for a lot of actors that are like, I want to start doing kids my movie. I want to start
Kids
doing
my
kids my
movies.
movies can see. I want to start doing movies my kids can see,
Exactly.
like with me in them. And so like, if this is an indication of like the type of kids movies that
Mm.
Ryan Reynolds will make,
Oh yeah.
I'm fine with
I mean, he
that.
was also in Turbo. Like he voiced the snail in Turbo,
That's
and
true.
Turbo's fantastic too. Like, talk about a movie that hits you. Turbo freaking hits you.
DreamWorks is really good with that, even though they don't get nearly
Oh
the credit
yeah.
they should.
No, they don't, and it
Uh,
makes me sad. But yeah, that was like another thing. He did the whole like method acting video. All these videos, by the way, I watched after I saw Detective Pikachu because I didn't want anything like spoiled for me as far as Detective Pikachu goes. Because I was like, I basically know what's gonna happen, but I don't want anything spoiled for me still. So he like did this whole like this funny like joke method acting thing, and he was like, I got the call on the way to go pick up my daughters from school, and I never showed up to school, that is, and because Pikachu, he doesn't know who those two girls are. You need to watch the video because
God.
it's so. And then Blake Lively, it cuts to like Blake Lively, and she's like, "He left our daughters at school. Those are our children." And it's just like, oh my god, it's so funny. Like, and apparently, people like international audiences did not get it was a joke.
Of course not,
So,
because he's too dry a comedian for
yeah,
that to play in
yeah.
another language.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Uh,
it was so funny though. But yeah, so God, and but then he said, my kids like now I have like I'm never they're always gonna be my kids now because I have this Pokemon movie and they're never leaving. Like it's fine. Oh my
I know
God.
there's one other thing you wanted to talk about, but before we get
There was
to
another thing I wanted to talk about.
the trailer that you watched,
Oh yeah.
before we get to that, just quick question. How were them Bulbasaurs? How did you feel about the Bulbasaurs
I loved them
being the
so
healers of the Pokemon world?
much. That made me so happy. Like, so incredibly happy. Because it's like, alright, here's the thing about Bulbasaur, everybody. Bulbasaur, best Pokemon. Secondly, Bulbasaur, best Pokemon. No. No. But it's like, that whole scene, first of all, the fact that in the trailers there's that parade of Bulbasaurs, that made me happy. Just on that level, I'm like, this is gonna be cool. Like, I don't even care what moment
I
this
don't care what
is.
scene this is. I just want to see that
Like,
shot.
I just want to see that. That's great to me that there's all that like this clan or like team of Bulbasaur, and then to show that they are basically the protectors and these healing Pokemon, and kind of they work with Mewtwo in this way was fantastic. And there was that little moment where Bulbasaur is like one of the most loyal Pokemon, right? Well, so that's known. That is a known fact about Bulbasaur. And now that I've rewatching the anime, that's even shown in the first episode that you see with Bulbasaur, where he was kind of outcast by trainers or by his trainer, got sent away, started hating humans, which, like, by the way, is how all of Ash's Pokemon like start out. And it's
We all
like,
we
what
all
the
hate we
hell,
all hate humans.
guys?
Oh,
Like,
this Ash guy though, I think he might
this
be okay because he's
he's
too dumb to be mean.
yeah,
He's
exactly. So Bulbasaur like basically goes to this. There's a house in the woods that this woman um takes care of Pokemon that have been outcast and been hurt by their trainers emotionally, physically, anything like that. And Bulbasaur is their protector. He is so loyal. He doesn't want anyone to go near them, and he's like, no, these are like these they don't need to get hurt anymore. They need to be protected, and I am going to protect them because I'm just gonna have the hardest skin. Like it's they're my buddies, and no one is going to hurt my buddies. So to then make Bulbasaur even like more so a protector and loyal, and like to show there's that moment where Lucy is about to follow them, and that Bulbasaur is like, no, you can't follow us, because what I am about to show him about, I just sounded really Canadian. um it's like, no, I don't understand that you care enough about your Pokemon yet. Tim just demonstrated that this Pikachu means a lot to him. So we're going to trust him in this moment. Even though we as people understand that Lucy cares about Psyduck, in that moment, it was Tim and Pikachu's moment. And the Bulbasaur saw that and was like, we can trust this kid to bring him to Mewtwo. And, plus there's that whole the whole thing of this movie is that Pokemon can feel it. Like, Pokemon can feel what are in people's hearts.
I knew you were gonna love that line. The second it popped up, I was like, this thing has the two things Dale loves about Pokemon. It's got Bulbasaur, and it's got, if you love your Pokemon, they'll love you back. It's
Exactly.
like the most two things.
So that whole thing happens, and it's like, yeah, those Pikachu, I mean, not those Pikachu, those Bulbasaur understand, hey, this kid's really hurting for this Pikachu right now. Like, we need to help him because he's not gonna hurt us. We can trust him, kind of thing. And it's also one of those things where it's like, no, like, this is super secret. We can't show anyone else. Sorry, Lucy. And she's completely cool with it. Like, she doesn't get offended.
She's
Like
yeah,
if that was Misty,
she's cool with
if
it.
that was Misty,
Well,
Misty would have been like, "What the fuck? I just want my bike back." But then
but
like it shows a lot from Mewtwo too. Like, from Mewtwo, like, yeah, no, I as Mewtwo, as like one of the gods or one of the demigods, because like Arceus and I don't know,
technically made from one of the
made
legendary
from
Pokemon.
a
Yes.
god. That's why I say demigod, because
Yeah.
he's like created. So he's basically a demigod. For this like demigod Pokemon to trust the Bulbasaur, that's huge. That's like no, you are going to be my team. Find me the people. Find me this person who has a connection with their Pokemon that maybe seems like a son and father.
And they all looked great,
They
and
looked
everybody was
beautiful.
totally loyal to their character arcs in the games
Mm-hmm.
and the stories, and everything looked great.
Yeah.
But then there's that Sonic trailer you watched.
Hey, yes. So I finally watched the Sonic trailer because I wanted to see it before they.
There's no way that Sonic
Reanimated.
doesn't get compared to Detective Pikachu the
Oh
second
yeah.
it comes out. There just isn't this year, unfortunately.
So I told you I would save my reaction for the recording.
Uh-huh.
I am so flippin' excited for Sonic the
I am
Hedgehog.
not surprised. I am not surprised for a second. I was like, there's only two ways that this goes for Dale. She hates it, or she is so bought into this
I am
thing.
so stupid excited. Are you kidding me? Like, as far as I'm concerned, the world is stupid right now because it really, really worked for me on a lot of levels. First of all, Ben Schwartz can never not be blue. And for those who don't understand that, he plays Dewey
I saw
from
the best.
DuckTales
I
and
saw the
Leo.
best DuckTales clip with him, by the way, because him and Della were singing Powerline from Goofy Movie.
Oh my gosh, that might be a spoiler. Devin, you might
I
not
don't
want
know
to
if
hear
they've
this
watched. I
part.
don't know if you watched the episode, but I don't know how connected any of that is yet.
Yeah.
All I know is that there is just a power line reference, and that reference is Dewey singing "Power Line."
Oh my god, that's great. That's amazing.
Uh,
Um, but like James Marsden works for me. Like I love James Marsden. Like
he's got the weirdest career, and I love
he
it.
really
He's got the
does.
weirdest career.
It's great. Um, Jim. Why can't I think of?
Jim Carrey,
Thank you. I was about to say Jim Curry.
Doctor Ace Ventura himself.
Oh my gosh, like he like that was really impressive too. Like I'm very very
Like
excited.
such
And
such Ace Ventura vibes from Dr. Robotnik.
mm,
Just so much
oh
like
yeah.
late 90s Jim Carrey
Yeah,
vibes.
it was great. And the thing is like I watched that trailer, right? And first of all, Gangsta's Paradise
Oh my
is the freaking
god.
trailer
I
song.
can't. I can't. The thing that bothers me is that it does the thing. It never. It's all build up. It's all the build up for Gangsta's Paradise and none of the drop, which means that it feels like the most unresolved trailer ever. Because it's like we're just gonna loop the first 30 seconds of Gangsta's Paradise over and over.
Like just that. It's
My
just that.
God.
But here's my prediction for Sonic the Hedgehog today, right? Right here, right now. My prediction for Sonic the Hedgehog is in the trailer we see Sonic like hit freaking Sonic Boom, right? He goes that and then it cuts to all the lights going out in the world. And then it's like something caused power to go out, all blah 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 blah. Here's my prediction. Sonic, they're gonna think that Sonic is the reason for that, right? He may or may not be, but it's actually Dr. Robotnik.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be something that bad. Because that's the thing. Like the whole like
Dr.
weird.
Robotnik? Is that his name? Dr.
Yes.
Eggman. Wait, why do
Well,
I call him
Eggman,
Eggman?
Eggman and Robotnik.
Yeah.
It's the same character, and
It
I
is,
forget why
right?
they switch over. Yes.
Okay.
There's like bad lore reasons for why
Yeah.
that changeover happened.
I always call him
But
Eggman.
the thing with
name.
the thing that they have talked about, and that you kind of get a very quick shot of in that trailer, is that Jim Carrey very slowly becomes like the
Yes.
caricature cartoon
Yeah.
version of
Yeah.
Robotnik over the movie. And there's a lot of people that think that this whole like we're going to redesign Sonic thing is actually a marketing ploy, and that the whole point was that he was going to become more and more cartoon like throughout the gang too, which is bullshit. But anyway,
Yeah, no. I just
there are people that think he's going to change just like Robotnik does over the movie now. Ugh, no.
That makes no sense.
Pay VFX artists.
That makes
Anyway,
no sense.
But
no,
the thing that bothers me, the thing that still gets me in that trailer is the "I'm here to save your planet" line. Every time.
He says, looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet.
Yeah, but my problem is that he says your planet. Those two words specifically
I know.
are that he says your planet. Now, it could be that he doesn't realize he's just a hedgehog. It could be that he gets that whole power outage thing is him getting turned into Sonic, because the whole manual backstory to the original Sonic the Hedgehog is that basically he was a hedgehog that like got pretty much walked into some toxic ooze TMNT style and then became Sonic. It's like that was it. So it's very possible that he starts out this movie as a hedgehog and then like something happens during that power outage that turns him into Sonic the Hedgehog. He just doesn't realize that he is like earthly.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's the fact that he hit that line.
Zach, but maybe he is just a guy who got placed into the body of a hedgehog and now doesn't understand what he's supposed to be.
Ben Schwartz was skateboarding down a sidewalk in the 90s. Got zapped into the hedgehog by Dr. Robotnik.
That guy looks like he could pull off a blue character. Let's do that.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. I'm so excited. I don't even care. I was excited before I saw anything. And it's because it's Sonic and I love Sonic, but I don't care. It honestly, like while I was watching it, I'm like, this just feels like a Nickelodeon movie. One of those cheesy Nickelodeon movies that hit the theaters,
Yeah.
and I am totally okay with
And
those.
I think the thing is, first off, I think that there's a lot of Sonic fans out there who are just like waiting for the day when the thing that like they love gets treated with enough love to be put out
Well,
there.
just like
And
Pokemon.
I think right, and I think the concern from people who are just Sonic fans, I don't give a shit about the people who aren't Sonic fans who just want to shit on this trailer. I don't care about you, but the people who are Sonic fans who watch this and were disappointed, I think the thing is there's like 8 different origin stories for Sonic right now,
Yeah,
and none of them are the one that's in this movie.
yeah.
And so it's just the fact that they just seem to like they couldn't just like pick one of those and do it as a I think what's upsetting, and also the weird proportions on that design. I think someone described it as that it looks like a toddler in a onesie. Like
Yeah. you
kind
want
of
to know?
does.
You want to know what it looks like? A tall me.
Do you
That's
mean
what it
me
looks.
as in from Nintendo, or do you mean
Yes.
me as in Dale Decker?
No, 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 no,
It
no,
looks
no.
like a tall Dale Decker.
No, I meant a tall me, MII, like Nintendo. Like someone was just like jacking up the tall, jacking down the skinny, blue Sonic the Hedgehog.
And it's just like it's weird that like the hair just looks like wispy in a way I
Yeah.
don't appreciate. Like it looks like someone like it looks like he's balding because it's like he has blue skin with blue hair on top of it, and that blue hair is thinned out.
Oh, I did not get that.
That was what I feel like when I look like that. Like it looks like a felt costume that someone put like some hair on. And so like you see
Oh
some of
my
the hair blowing in the
god.
wind and the rest of it is just not.
There. Like just
Ugh.
stop there. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no. I'm excited to see
And I
what happens
still
with it.
don't
It's
want anyone to redesign it. It's the choice you made, stick with it.
yeah, no, that pisses me off. That is about the only thing about Sonic that pisses me off right now is that don't let people like get to you, I guess.
Don't let the internet bully you into further crunching your VFX artists who you
Exactly.
probably
Yeah.
already didn't pay well and crunched.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no. I
uh
yeah, no. I'm excited for it. And
but
it
yeah,
made me
there's
really
like
happy cuz
yeah, there's
it's
just
just
like
cheesy.
yeah, and it's unfortunate that like it is going to be compared to Detective Pikachu when it
Oh,
comes
yeah.
out. It just is.
Yeah.
If these things had come out a couple of years apart, or if Sonic had come out first, if
Yeah.
they had swapped places, if Sonic had come out 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
or a week ago or whatever, and Detective Pikachu was like your big holiday movie, I think we would be in a different place. It's just the fact that the way that the direction in which they are coming out
Yeah.
does not serve Sonic well.
No, I agree. I agree to that. Yeah, and it's also they just feel like two very very different movies. Like whereas Pikachu it you know, you knew it was going to be cheesy and campy and fun. The first trailer did not feel like that. The trailer for Sonic specifically feels like a joke. Like it feels like this is just supposed to be fun.
Like, please
We're
don't
not
take this so seriously that
yeah,
you bully us on
like
the internet. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like we're not trying to do anything. We're just kind of trying to cash in on the fact that everybody is going to start making these live action slash animated films. Like we're just trying to cash in on that. People love Sonic. You know, it's this thing that I that's the issue. And that's the issue that I have with critics and all of that too, where it's like some movies are just movies and are just meant to be fun and like are just meant to be cheesy and get you out of the real world for a couple of
Yeah,
hours.
you can usually tell when the movie is asking you to think on a certain level. Like
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
also get like I get things written later on where it's like let's overthink about this movie and
Yeah.
write 50 pages on it. I love that shit.
That's
I
fun.
also
But
don't
that's
usually
fun.
fault a movie for that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and it's funny also that like I think the other part of this is that there was a great beautiful fake and I wish it was real graphic going around about the like Nintendo cinematic universe that was like
Oh.
Detective Pikachu, Sonic, the Mario movie that's coming out, and then they just started making up fake movies after that for like what they would do for like sequels and things,
That's amazing.
and it was great. But like I think it also feeds into this idea that people think about Sonic. Unfortunately, I think people, it depends on how old you are. There are people out there that I think of that probably think of Sonic as a Nintendo character now
Yeah.
because of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And so like you think about it as like, well, they were all in Smash together. How come Pikachu got the good movie and Sonic like got the good budget for their movie and Sonic didn't get as big a budget or something?
Yeah.
And so I think there's like a lot of weird ideas about how movies get made getting into that, but it's going to be really interesting when like the fully animated Mario movie
Mm.
that comes out, God knows when.
Yeah, jeez. That's gonna be
When
crazy.
that comes out, and then you put these three movies together, that's gonna be a weird trilogy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a weird drinking game. I'm gonna watch all three of those movies for like Christmas every year for the rest of my life, probably.
Oh,
But
that's brilliant. That's I
but
love
like,
it.
but I think it's just like it all feeds into this idea of like what people expect of like. I think we're at a point now where just doing the simple cheesy movie is more difficult than doing a movie like Detective Pikachu that plays into weird ideas about like partnership and autonomy and body autonomy and what's okay for humans to do to animals.
Yep.
Because I think that like there's just a lot of people out there that will give a lot more respect to a movie that tries to go with like those weirder, darker themes than it will for things that are just kind of cheesy. But I bet you like there's also a good chance that like that Sonic movie becomes like a weird cult classic 20 years from
Oh,
now.
it's
That
100%
like
going to.
kids in high school 20 years from now
Oh
are
yeah.
going to be like, "Hey, they made this weird movie based on this game that's like 60 years old now
Yeah.
because I put this 20 years in the future." Zach, why did you do that? Yeah, like it's like if we it's like I'm trying to think. I mean, it's honestly, it's like if we watched like Rogue One
Oh yeah.
10 years from now and went, Rogue One, this weird movie that's stuck in between these other trilogies of this saga of movies that came out over 3 decades, and trying to give that to someone in the future and be like, this is Star Wars, watch
Yes.
this.
Watch
I could
this.
see people sitting down and be like, I don't know, this is what they thought movies were for video games in this world now. And we're all going to sit down on our couch that's owned by Disney and we're going to watch this movie. We found the one
Oh
movie not
my
owned by Disney,
god.
and it's Sonic the
Oh
Hedgehog.
my god. I
Nintendo,
don't even want to go near
Nintendo,
that.
Nintendo has completely split from Sega. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are also part of Disney for some reason, and Sega's the only one. Sega's the only one not owned by Disney, and so people sit down and watch Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh
as the
my
one thing
god.
they
As a
can do to not
cleanse.
give Disney
As a
money.
cleanse.
It's the one
Oh
way we
my
can do
gosh.
it.
Oh
Then it
jeez.
turns out it's on Hulu, and we're like, damn it, no! And I
Oh
think at that
man.
point, once my brain has reached conspiracy theories of our dystopian Disney future,
Oh
we need to prepare
god.
to set this off to the Brendan Fraser quiz, which is another half hour of this episode before we get to Liz. Um,
Yeah.
we should probably do like the weird sign off stuff now because I think
Oh yeah, we
Devin,
didn't do it.
Devin sends it off to Liz at the end of our thing. So there is another 27-ish minutes of this episode in which Devin is going to come and give us a quiz on movies that, honestly, I have not seen all of the movies, and somehow I managed. This is how I got through school. I didn't do any of the work, and I still managed to pass the test. So,
Don't spoil the
but
test answers though, or the test results.
you can find us online on Twitter at sayreportjr, and if you search us on YouTube, it's sayreportjr. That's sayreportjr. At some point this week, I'm going to sit down and put all of our episodes back up. I've fallen so badly behind. I say so badly. It's 4 episodes. There were times in which we were 20 episodes behind, so I shouldn't be that
Oh
feel.
yeah, no, you're fine.
But you can follow us individually. I am at Zerwisky.
And I am at Dale's Brain. You can also find us
So,
on Spotify.
oh God, I'm gonna keep forgetting that. Find us
It's okay.
on Spotify.
Yeah, yeah. Enjoy
We're
the
gonna
Brendan.
we're gonna go get some ice cream, and you're
Yes.
gonna go listen to our past selves in the future
In the
answer
future.
questions about Brendan Fraser. And somehow
In
we
the
never got to
past.
blast from the past. How did we never
Oh.
get to blast from the past?
That's a
Anyway,
question you gotta ask Devin. That's something you gotta take up with Devin.
Devin and past us, take it away.
Hello, everybody. This is a special thing that we're doing on the Say Report Jr. Hopefully, I have led us into this, and this is not just a weird situation that we're in. I really hope.
Want to hear a real weird situation? I'm gonna create a time paradox.
No.
Do it.
I opened that beer, and you're not gonna. I'm gonna be drinking it through an entire episode you've already heard.
Oh,
anyway,
man, that's crazy.
I've ripped open reality.
How dare you? Anyways, hello everybody, and as you may know, this month is Brendan Fraser Appreciation Month.
It's Brendan Fraser History Month.
History Month, excuse me. And that voice that sounds like a manly version of my voice is Devin Decker. If you
Why am I offended?
Not at all how I would describe. Okay.
I know.
Anyway.
I know. It was the first thing that popped in my head. It's Devin Decker, everybody.
I also want to point out, I don't think that this actually happens, but if there's someone who listens to Say Report Jr. and not the Say Report, they actually probably have no idea what Brendan Fraser History Month is.
Yeah, so
it's entirely possible.
I was about to introduce who Devin was. And Devin, unless you want to do it, Zach.
I mean, you're in the room with him. You can tell when he's about to get loud.
I know. So Devin Decker is my brother and one of the hosts of Say Report, the Say Report, which is our sister podcast that our older brothers do together. This is a really bad explanation, but anyways, Brendan Fraser History Month is a month that celebrates Brendan Fraser movie history, right, Devin?
It really celebrates Brendan Fraser's entire history as a man.
The man, the myth, the legend.
It was inspired by Seijen's original podcast, Super Kenshi, Fun Time Bus Through Space. Oh my god. Super Kenshi for short, because I don't remember the full long title. Where he was
almost might explain why that's not a podcast anymore, actually.
It was like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious plus 3 more syllables. So... it's fun.
Yeah.
But Q, who was the host of that podcast, said in one episode offhandedly that he hated Brendan Fraser. So I wrote up a quiz and a whole mythos behind why May was Brendan Fraser History Month. And when Seijen and I decided to start our own podcast, we decided that was something we wanted to, continue with the Say Report.
Cool.
So now that you guys have a podcast, I asked them graciously if I would be allowed on the show so I could administer that very first Brendan Fraser History Month quiz and see how much the juniors know about, the Brenmaster.
Do we have a time stamp on when this quiz was created? A year, ballpark.
Oh, this quiz was created
at least 2 years ago.
April of 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. So we probably don't have to worry about his. What was that? His television return. Or Doom Patrol.
Is not part of it. Doom Patrol is not part of it.
No, it's all pre
his return, basically.
Pre-trust, yeah, his return. But yeah, so without
this is the 4th official Brendan Fraser History Month, and the 3rd that Say Report is celebrating.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. I didn't even realize that. Put a lot into perspective for me.
All right. So just make sure you have a pen and paper.
I do. I have written BF quiz on that paper.
Oh, I should do that.
So.
Hardcore BF weekend.
Yes.
There we go.
How has he not been on American Dad? Anyway.
I don't know. Actually, you say that, and I don't know.
I need a clipboard.
All right, well, use that box that you have in your hand. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Brendan Fraser History Month quiz. Write down your answers. It is multiple choice. And we will assess at the end.
How many questions are there?
10 questions. You don't need to number your answer spots.
I do.
Too bad, because that's what I'm doing.
That's what it's what you're both doing. There's a reason you do a podcast together. All right. So, that's question number 1. Which Goonie appears alongside Brendan Fraser in Encino Man? Is it A, Corey Feldman, B, Josh Brolin, C, Sean Astin, or D, Martha Plimpton?
Josh Brolin isn't a Goonie.
Yes, he is. He's the older brother.
I know.
Oh,
I
you're
know
saying that he
he's an
doesn't
older
qualify as a
brother.
Goonie?
He is not a Goonie.
I think he is a Goonie.
He goes underground with them, therefore he is one of the Goonies.
If Andy is a Goonie, then Bran is a Goonie.
Fair enough. What were the choices again?
A. Corey Feldman.
Don't sigh.
A. Corey Feldman. B. Josh Brolin. C. Sean Astin. Or D. Martha Plimpton. All right. Question number 2. Though most children of the 90s fondly recall his appearance in Encino Man, his first starring role was in which drama released that same year? Was it A. Awakenings, B. Moscow on the Hudson, C. The Dead Poets Society, or D. School Ties?
Wow, I didn't realize that came out that close to Encino Man, but yes, I know the answer.
I would hope so. Let me know when you're ready, Dale.
I'ma lose. This is what I'm gonna say.
Well,
I'm
there's
ready.
still 10 questions, and it's still very early in the game.
Devin, there's still 8 questions.
8 questions.
Well,
yeah, I'm glad you
I
caught
mean,
that.
no, I'm saying that, like, there's still 10 questions total. So don't count your chickens because you didn't know the first 2. Question number 3. What was the name of the band in the 1994 comedy Airheads?
Whoops.
Was it A...
Wait, I might get this just from memory. Let's see.
Was it A, the Lone Rangers, B, the Zorros, C, the Tontos, or D, the Airheads?
Okay, yep, I did get that one from memory. Man, that was on a lot
Ready?
on Comedy Central in like...
That was
My
another one of
childhood.
those afternoon Comedy Central movies.
I would just like to point out the only movie that has been mentioned that I've seen is Goonies. Let's move on.
Not even the Brendan Fraser one.
Let's move forward with the quiz.
Question number 4. In which of these Pauly Shore films does good old Brendan Fraser have an uncredited cameo? Is it A, Son-in-Law, B, Biodome, C, Jury Duty, or D, Pauly Shore is Dead?
I actually remember this question being asked on Say Report, and I don't remember the conversation
That's
that came afterwards or the answer.
I asked Devin, I'm like, Zach's gonna know all the answers.
Can I get those multiple choices one more time?
Of course. A, Son-in-Law, B, Biodome, C, Jury Duty, D, Pauly Shore is Dead.
Okay, that's the first one that I kind of have a question mark on, but that's
Oh.
okay.
Well, yeah, but that just proves my point, that just because you've heard this quiz before does not necessarily mean you know the answers.
It's also because I erase every Say Report episode out of my brain right after I listen to it, so like 2 episodes later I don't remember what you've talked about.
I erase every Say Report
only-
episode out of my brain after I've recorded it.
If,
So.
if only it was a Scantron, I could draw Brendan Fraser's
man.
face. And get points that way.
Okay.
It's a lot of bees.
So
It's a lot
this
of bees.
question-
There's a lot of bees.
Listen very carefully to this question.
Uh-oh.
Because it is poorly written intentionally. Speaking of the king of the cameo, in which of these films does Brendan Fraser not appear uncredited?
Okay.
Wait,
okay.
what?
I think I understand.
Good for you, Zach!
Speaking of the king of the cameo, in which of these films does Brendan Fraser not appear uncredited?
Which
Okay.
means,
Okay.
Dale,
Yeah,
it means it's just as likely that he could be in the movie, but as long as he's credited, it
Yes.
still counts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I know. I
Is
got
it A, Now and Then, B, Glory Days, C, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, or D, Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy?
I'm going with the one of those movies that I remember for certain that he's in. I almost also just wrote down my answer and then Brendan Fraser, like that was what I was trying to remind myself of. No,
Okay.
that's not the title of a movie. Okay.
Well,
Do you have an
as well
answer for
be.
5, Dale?
yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I'm quick.
Little known fact, 1997's Bedazzled, starring Elizabeth Hurley and our boy Brendan Fraser, is a remake of a 1967 film of the same name that starred which actor? Is it A, Roger Moore, B, James Caan, C, Dudley Moore, or D, George Burns?
I think I should know this one. I used to know this.
think I
I'm
know
guessing
this.
at this point.
I'm guessing on all of them. I've seen Bedazzled. right?
Yeah,
I've seen Bedazzled.
you live in this house.
Yeah. I like
For a second, you're going to be like, oh, Bedazzled's the movie we're talking about. Yes.
All right. Everybody have their answers ready on 6?
Yeah.
Moving right along to 7. In which of these classic cartoon big screen adaptations did Brendan Fraser not appear? Was it A, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, B, Dudley Do-Right, C, George of the Jungle, or D, Looney Tunes?
I actually know that one for certain.
Now, okay.
It's also weird. We'll talk about it when we get around to this. It's weird that 3 of those are basically from the same, like, run of cartoons.
Yeah,
But,
that's
okay,
why
but-
I wrote the
but-
question the way I wrote the
But
question.
Looney Tunes.
I know.
Looney
yeah.
Tunes Back
I
in
know what you're
Action is a big screen cartoon adaptation of Looney Tunes.
Okay. I know exactly. Yeah,
Wait, can you
I
read
get that. I
read
get
it
where
ag-
I get
read
what's
the
hanging you up,
question again?
Dale.
In which
what-
of these classic cartoons big screen adaptations
Okay,
did
alright.
Brendan
Apostrophe.
Fraser not appear?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a possessive in there that you can't really hear.
Okay, what was the multiple choices again?
Is it A, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, B, Dudley Do-Right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Number 8. Which actor portrays the reanimated cadaver when Brendan Fraser's character eventually possesses a deceased person in Monkey Bone?
God, I love that movie so much.
Is it A, Jimmy Fallon, B, Fred Armisen, C, Chris Kattan, or D, Horatio Sands? You guys should talk. I mean, Zach, you have an answer. Dale's thinking. How you
No,
doing
Um,
today,
I'm
Zach?
I mean, just
fine,
reread.
we're fine.
Okay, I just want
We're
to.
good.
I mean, I know for a fact what it is, but I just want to make sure that I'm not getting tricked by an easy question. So reread that question one more time.
Which actor portrays the reanimated cadaver when
Okay.
Brendan Fraser's character eventually possesses a deceased person in Monkey Bone?
Okay. Yep. Okay. Just making sure I heard you right.
Are you ready, Dale?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been ready.
Number 9. Not content with only breaking hearts on the big screen, Brendan Fraser plays which Scrubs character's brother?
Oh.
Is it A, Sarah Chalks Elliott, B, Ken Jenkins' Dr. Kelso, C, John C. McGinley's Dr. Cox, or D, Krista Miller's Jordan? I'm really proud of this question.
Good for
On
you.
I'm proud
every
of
level.
that question. I'm proud of the way you did the answers, and also thank you for not making me have to remember his character's name because I forget all the time.
Sam is
I
not
remember
his
who he's
name,
the
right?
brother of. I never remember his name.
I don't remember his name either. Because Sam is JD's brother, right?
Uh,
The Scrubs characters have brothers?
Yes,
my
they have
God.
families. They don't exist in a
no,
vacuum.
Dan.
I don't
Dan
believe
is,
that.
Dan is JD's brother.
Oh, then
It's,
Sam is Brendan Fraser's name.
I just believe they only live in that hospital and never leave.
They
Yeah,
they
they're
do. I mean,
ghosts.
they see their
They're
brothers
fucking
in that
ghosts.
hospital.
Yes, yeah, that's what. Yeah, they've
And
been
then their families
scrubbed.
come to mourn their dead bodies.
They've been scrubbed clean of their
Oh
lives,
my God.
so they have to scrub up in the hospital to help people stay alive.
Oh my
Moving
God.
on.
I want you to explain Grey's Anatomy to me one day.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right,
No,
question
10. Question 10.
number 10. Finally, which 2014 animated feature features Brendan Fraser? Is it A, The Nut Job, B, The Box Trolls, C, Escape from Planet Earth, or D, The Lego Movie?
Oh, I actually don't know this one. I think I'm gonna guess. I
Zach,
think I have
didn't
it,
know
but
any.
that's not
I
what I'm
guessed
certain
on
of.
every single one. I'm just gonna be honest and true.
All right, final tabulations. Do you need any questions reread?
No.
Nope.
All right, then let's go through and tabulate the answers. May I have your pen, please? Don't give me your answer sheet, Dale. I'm gonna need it.
But I want.
He can
how-
return you with your big fat D plus you're gonna get on Grey.
How am I? How are you scoring this if I don't have
I
the
can
pen?
score on my pen.
Oh.
I have a piece of paper in front
Oh,
of me
okay.
with the Brendan Fraser History Month quiz on it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, question number 1 was which Goonie appeared alongside Brendan Fraser in Encino Man? What do you have as an answer, Zach?
Sean Astin.
Dale?
Sean Astin.
Can I see your paper?
Josh Brolin.
Dale went with Josh Brolin.
Sean Astin digging that pool up, and that's where is that where he finds the caveman, or is that just coincidental that he's also digging a giant hole
No,
in his
he's
backyard?
digging a big hole in his backyard, and that's where he finds a caveman.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, question 2. Though most children of the 90s fondly recall his appearance in Encino Man, his first starring role is in which drama released that same year? Zach?
It's School Ties.
C. I went with C.
They went with Dead Poet
Dead Poet Society?
It was, in fact, School Ties.
Yeah, I could tell. Well, anytime Zach answers, this is going to be the correct answer.
Where he's super mean to Matt Damon?
No, Matt Damon is super mean to him.
Oh, okay. I had
Everyone's
that
mean to him because he's a Jewish student at a waspy, boarding school. And the secretary, the head of state, makes a kid commit suicide.
Let's continue
It's
on.
weird. That movie's weird. That's why we haven't watched it for Brendan Fraser History Month. Number 3, what is the name of the band in the 1994 comedy Airheads? A movie released before Dale was born. So, let's just be honest.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah.
I feel old.
See, there you go, Dale. There's some points for you. What'd you go with, Zach?
It's the Lone Rangers, because it's a running joke the whole time that there's 3 of them.
What'd you go with, Dale?
Airheads.
Nice! You fell for my clever ruse. Perhaps it was the titular.
And no, airheads do not make your head explode, Devin.
Dude, I see that commercial and the people are blowing bumper heads on the train.
It doesn't work. It's not. It would,
And I'm like, that
the
doesn't
FDA
happen.
would not allow that to happen.
So I don't understand how that commercial is selling you airheads. Oh my God, Dale, we peaked. It then normalizes. It's audio.
It scares me.
Okay,
To be fair, Skittles sells you on giving you Skittles chicken pox. So
Yep.
That's true. I have those, though.
Skittles or chicken pox?
Both.
Okay.
In which of these Pauly Shore films does good old Brendan Fraser have an uncredited cameo? What letter did you go with, Zach?
this is Zach's first question mark. Is it son-in-law?
It is son-in-law.
Yay!
Okay.
Dale, can I see your piece of paper?
A. I went
Though
with
I
A.
believe she did go with A.
That was a huge guess.
He shows up.
I went entirely from what I remember from the Say Report.
Brendan Fraser shows up as his character from Encino Man.
What? So they in their same world?
So they exist in the same world.
But it's not the same Pauly Shore, right? That's the whole thing?
It's a different
Pauly Shore
Pauly
character?
Shore, same Brendan Fraser. And in the Army Now, the caveman character portrayed by Brendan Fraser shows up yet again.
Jesus. Why? Why does this character come all over the place?
I guess the fact that, if a caveman came, he'd be all over the place. Looking for the weasel.
I don't understand anything that is happening right now.
I do, and you're better for it.
Okay.
So-
There's a caveman.
Oh, you gotta see Encino Man.
And then
Robin
never
Tunney's
think
in
about
it.
Pauly Shore again.
Speaking of the king of the cameo, in which of these films does Brendan Fraser not appear uncredited? What'd you go with, Zach?
I went with G.I. Joe. Is he credited at the end of G.I. Joe?
He
I don't
is
know.
never credited in G.I. Joe.
Oh, I got that
For
one
his
wrong
portrayal
then.
of Sergeant Stone. What'd you go with, Dale?
Whatever B was.
Glory Days?
Yeah.
Dale, on the board!
Wait, really?
A second time! Yes.
Why?
Because he plays a character who's credited. He appears in all 4 of those movies, but the only one in which he's credited as Dan is Glory Days because of his friendship with Ben Affleck.
Wait, what was
from
the
School
question?
Ties.
I thought the question was which one he was uncredited in.
No,
No,
it's
no,
the
no.
one, the only one that he appears in credited.
Oh. Oh, I got it right. Zach got it wrong.
Yep.
That makes
Congratulations. You know more about Ben Affleck ephemera than I do.
No, I don't. I just am better at guessing.
All right. So, who
Next one's
played
guess for
the
me, too,
same
so.
role as Brendan Fraser in the original 1967 Bedazzled?
I went with Dudley Moore, but I think it might actually be Roger.
It is Dudley Moore.
Oh, wait, really?
So C is the proper answer.
Oh, cool.
What'd you pick, Dale?
B.
James Caan. James Caan.
Yeah.
Robert.
I mean, that
For some reason, I thought
would've
I
been
remember
funny.
you guys talking about James Caan in relationship to Bedazzled.
Well, the whole fact of this is all of them have appeared. Well, B through D have appeared in movies with the devil. Roger Moore is there because it sounds like Dudley Moore, and it almost worked if it weren't for that meddling Zach.
I wanted Dudley Moore because I was like, I could see them putting Dudley Moore in that movie. I could just see it.
All right. So, which of these classic cartoons, big screen adaptations, did Brendan Fraser not appear in?
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
What'd you say, Dale?
B. Dudley Do Right, but I think I meant Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Well, can I see a paper?
But I wrote B.
You wrote B.
I wrote
I'm
B.
sorry. Yes, he does not appear in Rocky and Bullwinkle. The hope being, when I originally wrote the quiz, that people would of course know he was in Dudley Do-Right with Judd Apatow's wife, and they would think that because Dudley Do-Right was part of Rocky and Bullwinkle, he would have some sort of cameo.
Wait,
Well-
wasn't she also Jane in George of the Jungle?
No, it's a
No.
different actress.
Oh,
I
wait.
thought
so
that
who's
exact
Judd
same
Apatow's
thing.
wife?
I love George of the Jungle. That's
Because
just
George
a
of the
little
Jungle is
tidbit.
the lady from This Is 40, right?
No, it's not Leslie Mann. It's someone else.
Oh,
Leslie Mann is, I don't know. One of them is,
I-
is Leslie Mann, and not Dudley Do-Right might not be Leslie Mann. Leslie Mann might be George of the Jungle.
pretty certain George of the Jungle is Leslie
Yeah.
Mann.
So
Because
she
that's the
is-
one I've seen more.
But they're
Yeah.
very
No,
similar
she is.
people. Those two actors.
So I totally thought I was like, okay, it's one of the first two. I can't. What? He has a hat. Can't remember. I can't remember if Dudley Do-Right and Rocky and Bullwinkle are in the same world as each other, but they aren't.
They are
But
in
they
the
are
show,
in
They're
the
in the
show,
cartoon.
right?
but not in the movie.
But not in the movies.
Which is the whole
that's
point of
why-
it.
Yeah, so I definitely got confused. You
Yeah, no,
jerk.
it's Sarah Jessica Parker and Dudley Do Right.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
But they're very similar to me personally.
Okay. I mean, again, all from the same like animation people, all from the same.
That's the best ride.
It is. I love the
Ever.
Dudley Do-Right ride. All right. So number 8, which actor portrays the reanimated cadaver in Monkey Bone? What'd you
Are
go
we still
with?
waiting for me to answer?
Yeah.
Chris Kattan.
It is number C, Chris Kattan.
Number
Bingo.
C. Number C.
Yes.
I
that's
went
what
with D.
You went with Horatio Sands?
Don't.
He's the dummy answer.
Whatever. You know, Devin. Whatever. I haven't seen Monkey Bone Monkey Bone in so long. I call it Monkey Fist, and I get it. And I always get confused with Bedazzled. We've gone over this.
I understand you getting it confused with Bedazzled.
Yeah, they both go to hell. They both have to do with the devil.
Well, they don't both go to hell.
I know they don't
Monkey
go to
Bone
hell.
is technically limbo.
Yeah. But it's
And
the
you got
devil.
Death, not the devil.
But
Gosh.
I grew up.
But no, but
I'm
Giancarlo
sorry.
Esposito plays the devil.
I just grew
in-
up always calling it Monkey Fist. And
Because of Kim Possible.
Knew that was wrong. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, whose brother did he play on Scrubs?
He is Jordan's brother. He is Dr. Cox's brother-in-law. Nice try.
Nice job, Zach. You are the first person who has ever taken this quiz to get this question correct.
I cannot believe that. It's such a big deal that it's a okay. Anyway.
Yeah, no. But the fact of the matter is, most people, because Dr. Cox is so involved in the story, believe that it's his brother.
Right.
And that's why it's such like a nice bam boom. I got you on your Brendan Fraser. What'd you write down, Dale?
B.
Ken Jenkins, Dr. Kelso. That'd be interesting. I'd actually like to see that world.
I'd like to think people would confuse Dick Van Dyke for that in that one episode he's in.
The
That makes
Saint
a little bit more
Elsewhere
sense.
episode, where all of Saint Elsewhere is there. That's a weird episode. All right. Which 2014 animated feature features Brendan Fraser?
I mean, I put down the nut job.
And you
I don't know
are
if that's
correct.
correct. That's a total guess.
That's A, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Dale! Yeah, he doesn't appear... he might appear in Escape from Planet Earth, but Box Trolls and Lego Movie aren't even 2014 movies. I just had fun making the quiz. So let me do some tabulations. You guys can have some fun talking.
Hey, Zach.
I gave myself a star plus.
You
with
a
my
star
9 out
plus.
of 10.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I didn't even write down which ones I got right because I know I lost.
Uh,
You know, I mean, I like Brendan Fraser. I just don't remember a lot I've also never seen a lot of those movies.
I mean, I haven't seen. Let me think. I don't think I've incredibly seen Encino Man in a very long time.
I was too busy watching Looney Tunes Back in Action, like, on repeat.
Well, if you like Looney Tunes Back in Action, the episode that released 2 days ago, Sejan and I on the Say Report take a real deep look at Looney Tunes Back in Action. So you might want to listen, Dale. And you at home listener.
And
Zach,
you home.
You have officially scored the highest score ever in the history of the Brendan Fraser History Month quiz.
Which is sad, considering one of them I only got right because of this quiz's already existence.
Yeah, that's true. Dale, as per your namesake, you are 3, D.
I got 3 right.
My God.
Yeah. How many does Zach get right?
9.
Yeah. You got 1 wrong, Zach.
So we got a star plus. In fact, I will put it on the paper.
Oh my God. Wow. Wowie.
Well, then. That's some weird energy to go to talking about Detective Pikachu. But that's in the past for you, listeners.
Oh!
Don't worry about it.
So in the past. This is also... This is great.
I'm glad. Thank you very much for having me on
You're
to
welcome.
do this, guys.
You're very welcome.
I'm a big fan of this quiz, and I'm a big fan of Brendan Fraser, and I wanted you guys to get in on the love, too.
It was good.
So
it worked.
So, yeah. So I'll skedaddle so you can, I guess, throw it to Liz. Or did you already throw it to Liz, and this is like
I don't know.
After the credits?
I don't know. We'll see.
I assume we'll leave
Liz.
some space in there that we can cut in and
maybe
plop this in there.
Yeah.
That sounds like real work, though, and to be fair, Dale does all of that, so.
We'll see what happens.
Baba Booey, Howard Stern's penis. Woo!
Oh, God.
What?
Yep, he did that. That's a thing he did.
I'm cutting that out.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowik. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.